Hello, I'm Chris Williams, and today we're going to be reviewing Star Wars Vader Dark Visions Issue 3. Of course, we're going to start off with the cover, which is just, well, dreadful. It has Vader being the love toy of the star of this particular issue, a nurse. A nurse that could be a good stand-in for, well, every woman who loves romance novels. It's drawn competently by Greg Smallwood, but it could be better. It could be more dynamic. Something better than this. This is kind of an insult to Darth Vader. I mean, it looks like a statue. It looks like she's caressing a statue instead of a person. But it's drawn competently, and that's all you can really see. We start out with a ship heading towards the Death Star, and we hear a woman narrating it, how she can't wait to get closer to the person who's going to be coming out of that ship as it lands, while everyone else is suitably scared because they know who is coming out of that ship. So they line up and they get ready. Now, the artwork here is only somewhat good. It was made by David Lopez and Java Pena. At least the stormtroopers look like stormtroopers, but as you can see, the art, it looks more like something you'd see in a well, it's just not something you'd really see in a pro comic book. This woman does not even have a name. This nameless nurse character here. She pines for Darth Vader. That's all we really know about her. We don't know where she comes from or how old she is. We only know that she's worked for the Empire for years in their med bay, and that she's come to fall in love with Darth Vader. She even dreams about what he looks like under his mask. She knows he probably looks all scarred and disgusting, but doesn't care. At least she says so herself. Now here we have Darth Vader going for his annual checkup. And she tries to get out of the way, but she doesn't do it fast enough, and the artwork here is still not good. At least Vader looks almost cinematic in his movements, but it's probably because the guy David Lopez just probably took it off of the movie. And he uses his force power to force her out of the way. She goes slamming up against the wall. And it's remarkable that she would think that would be like he wouldn't actually harm her. Now I have another question. Does Vader actually know anything about her or feel any of her emotions? Because I find it kind of hard to believe that he's so self-absorbed he wouldn't notice any emotions directed at him or felt it, because she constantly looks at him. That's the thing. Oh, come on. She's even blushing like some teenage girl. Yeah, this is more young adult novel nonsense. And how does he not feel this? I guess Darth Vader could be well, arrogant, yeah, I know. But I think he'd at least be able to feel what people are feeling towards him, so that he knows that he's going to be attacked. And she has a daydream, where she is daydreaming about Darth Vader and them being lovers. I can only assume this part was made by by the other artist, maybe Java Pena. Or maybe this was David Lopez's art. I don't know. All I know is that two artists worked on this comic book, and I'm not very familiar with their work. Maybe I've seen it before. I'm not quite sure. And she's in love with Darth Vader, and it looks so bad. Once her daydream ends and she ends up entering the medical bay, she ends up angering both the doctor and, actually making the doctor fear for his own life, because she angers Darth Vader. It's amazing he doesn't kill her right then and there, as well as the doctor. Because as you can see, you can't see his emotion, but you can see Darth Vader being all squinched up as he's getting on that med bed. And he's looking at the nurse as she's entered. And he is angry. And he force shoves the doctor against the wall while saying, "Keep control of your medical bay, or I'll replace you with someone who can!" Nearly killing the doctor and shoving the droids to the ground. Reminds me of the end of episode 3. I guess, but I don't see the Vader saying, "No!" But hey, one doctor squished against the wall is almost as good. Here she daydreams a bit more. This time she's daydreaming that he's not only strangling the doctor, but that he's her lover, and she's holding him around the waist. And this daydream is really pointless and really juvenile. The artwork looks even worse in this part of the comic book. It looks like it's gone down a few levels. But it's funny that he loves me, she thinks. And she goes back in there after the doctor finishes working on Vader, and she manages to take a microchip or a piece of the cybernetics that used to be part of Darth Vader. Because it turns out she's collecting pieces of Darth Vader memorabilia from the medical bay, his blood and tissue. And she takes that, and as she's taking it, she smiles because she then puts it in her little box that she keeps in her room. Later on, Darth Vader returns to the ship after a battle. He crashes his starfighter. The lieutenants ask if he's all right. Well, Darth Vader struts arrogantly across the deck, heading towards the med bay. The artwork here is still bad. I mean, the lieutenant looks badly drawn. After the doctor gets finished working on Darth Vader leaves his cape behind, and the nurse comes in and says she thinks he left it there for her. So she takes it after she removes her clothes and to wrap it around her stuff so she could stick it out of there. She was smartly going to say that he left it, going to announce it, but then she decides he must have left it there for her. Later on, the doctor not only finds that she's stolen Darth Vader's cape, but he also sees that she has taken his blood and tissue, as well as things that belong to Darth Vader. And he asks, "Do you have a death wish? Because he will make death and destruction rain from the sky for an insult like this." Well, she says, "Just don't." Well, he then puts the thing she's stolen into the trash chute. She goes down to the trash chute where inside the Death Star we saw that in the first Star Wars movie. You know, the part where Leia, Han, and Luke nearly get crushed to death before the droids save them. Well, she goes down there and she checks through all the garbage. Well, hey, who knows? Maybe that flesh monster we saw in the first Star Wars movie, maybe it was actually Darth Vader's flesh and blood mutated into that thing. And that's what we saw in the first movie. You know, that thing with the giant eyeball? Well, afterwards, she completely goes insane. She sneaks into Darth Vader's room, and she interrupts his meditations. And she asks and basically she says, "Take me, I'm yours," while Darth Vader looks on rather ambiguously at first, but you can see he's just annoyed. He kills her, and then he asks the crew, Darth Vader, to the bridge, come get this garbage out of my quarters, he says, while her dead body is on the ground after he stabbed her with his lightsaber. And this is how this issue ends, with bad art and Darth Vader acting like himself. In fact, people are getting angry about this issue because Darth Vader acted as a villain. He did not take the advances of a mentally unstable nurse seriously and just outright put her out of her misery. Well, I guess he did that because he's a villain. This is Darth Vader we're talking about here, not a good person. This comic was bad. It was not worth buying. Alright? If you like this review, leave a like by hitting that bell. Subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. And leave some comments down below. And remember, keep watching my videos. Because eventually I'm going to announce my own independent comic book, Scum Dogs. So keep checking back to hear more news on my comic book. Until we meet again tomorrow for my next review, I'll see you all again soon. Bye.